Homeowners Association, detailing the harassment we faced from our neighbor and the recent vandalism. I wanted them to understand that this was not just a petty feud. It was a matter of safety and respect. My heart raced as I dropped the letters in the mailbox. I had tried to be reasonable, but enough was enough. I always believed that a peaceful neighborhood should be a sanctuary, not a battleground. My partner and I loved our little patch of wildflowers, the birds that flitted through the tall grass, and the serenity that came with it. But that serenity had been shattered by the relentless harassment from a neighbor who seemed to take pleasure in our discomfort. The inciting incident came when he stormed into our lives, berating my elderly mother for the state of our lawn, as if it were a crime to embrace the beauty of nature. I could still hear his voice echoing in my mind, the way he shouted, demanding we conform to his rigid standards. That day, I felt powerless. I was stuck inside with a newborn, unable to protect my mother from his tirade. It was a moment that ignited a fire within me, a desire to stand up not just for my family, but for our right to exist peacefully in our home. As the days turned into weeks, I noticed the rising tension between us and our neighbor. His threats became more brazen, and I could feel the weight of his disdain pressing down on me. I started to document everything, each aggressive encounter, every instance of vandalism, the way his dogs roamed freely into our yard. It became a sort of catharsis, a way to channel my anger into something tangible. I was determined that I would not be bullied into submission. The climax came one fateful afternoon when I found myself face to face with him. He was in my yard, shouting about how our grass was a breeding ground for pests, how we were ruining the neighborhood. My heart pounded as I stepped outside, ready to confront him. I could feel my partner behind me, a silent support, urging me to stand my ground. In that moment, I felt a surge of courage. I told him that we had every right to keep our yard as we pleased, that nature had its own rhythm, and we were not going to mold ourselves to his demands. The look on his face was one of shock, perhaps even fear. I had finally found my voice. In the falling action, I saw a shift in the dynamic. My neighbor, once so bold, seemed to retreat into himself. The harassing phone calls and threats dwindled, and I began to see a sense of relief wash over my family. I had taken a stand, and it had worked. The resolution came when I received a call from the Homeowners Association. They had investigated my complaints and decided to send a warning to my neighbor about his behavior. I felt a wave of vindication. It was as if the weight of the world had been lifted from my shoulders. I realized that standing up for myself and my family had not only protected us, but also restored our peace. In the end, I learned that sometimes you have to fight for what is right, even if it means facing down your fears. I embraced the wild beauty of our yard, knowing that it was a reflection of who we were, a family that would not be silenced.